You're live. Hi everyone, welcome. So this is like, I never really do YouTube live, so I decided like, you know what, I'm just gonna go ahead and do a quick little YouTube live. So I'm currently taking photos here at school for like graduation. My graduation isn't until a couple more weeks, but I decided to kind of just um, answer some of your guys' questions because I know a lot of people are curious about knowing about higher education, about how I feel about going to school. So just to give you a really quick background for those of you who don't know, I'm a first generation college student. So no one in my like immediate family has graduated college except for me in the hope, in the upcoming future. So I went to Riverside City College for 2 whole entire years. So I was a transfer student, and before then, I graduated high school. I went to Riverside City College for 2 years, and then I transferred to UC Irvine as a Korean literature and cultures major. Okay, so hopefully I can see your comments. Okay, so I'm gonna read in the comments really quickly. How are you able to afford college? So, that's like a big question that a lot of people have. College is expensive. And let me see if I can flip this really quickly. Say maybe this will work. No, let's just go ahead and keep it like this. So, college is a little bit expensive. I'm not going to lie to you. It was really difficult for myself. My parents couldn't financially support me through college, so it was up to me to be able to figure out how to pay for books, fees, like parking. So going to college, I was working at Starbucks at the time. So I would literally work like 25 hours every single week at Starbucks. And with that money, I would save. And that's how I would pay for my books. I would pay for like parking thing. I was fortunate enough to get financial aid as well. So it did help me out a little bit. But don't feel like money should stop you from pursuing your education. I know it sucks, and you can say like, yeah, colleges just want your money and it's really difficult. But if this is something that you want to do and something that you want to pursue, I really highly recommend that you do whatever you can in order to be able to accomplish that. Okay, let's see more questions. What are you trying to do with your major? For those of you who don't know, I'm a Korean literature and cultures major. So I study Korean literature, culture, history, and the language as well. Sorry, the birds are like really loud today. And I'm also double majoring in education sciences. So I think for me, I would like to become a teacher one day and yeah, just teach for a while and then see, where that takes me. Okay, let's see. More questions. Congratulations, thank you. Does anyone have like a specific question that you might have that I can answer for you? I think a big part about getting an education is not about like flaunting like what school you went to or the amount of degrees that you got or your GPA. I think it's important to be able to help others, and especially because we're minority students. I'm a first generation Mexican American student, so I didn't have anyone to really like look up to or have anybody to ask questions or anything like that. So I felt the need to be able to do this because if there's someone out there who has a desire to go get an education or someone that wants to help, the little brother or sister or niece, get a higher education, I felt the need to be able to help and give back to my community. You know what I'm saying? Thank you. Do you like it on campus? I do like it on campus. I think it's just your personality. I'm pretty kind of like reserved and introverted, so I'm not really super active with the like events on campus. But if you want to get that full college experience, you can go ahead and join clubs. You can join anything that you want. There's so many. We have thousands of clubs on campus, so getting involved is really easy. You could do student government. You could be involved with like a sport if that's something that you like to do. Okay, let's see. You would be the funniest teacher. Did you take out any loans for UCI? I did take out loans for UCI. It wasn't too much money. I did take out loans just because it would be a little bit easier for me while I was in school. So if taking out loans is something that you're interested in, I would highly recommend that you don't surpass anything over $40,000 just because that's a little bit a lot. So if you can kind of maintain your loan costs as low as you possibly can, but in that range of like 20 to like 40,000 is like, I think it's not too bad because it's the same amount as like getting a brand new like car. If you can afford a car payment for like 10 years, then I'm sure you can afford that for your student loans. Okay. I think community colleges are a great service for students who are kind of on the boat. If you're a first generation like student that's going to college for the first time, I would highly recommend that you go to a community college. That way you can get your feet wet and know what it's like, because it's not like what high school at all. You have to be very proactive and be able to take initiative with your own education. So I highly recommend for students that if you don't have any like prior experience with college, try out community college. There's a lot of people that say like you can get stuck in a community college, and I 100% agree. You have to be active. You have to know what classes you need to take. You have to know your major. You have to know the resources that are offered on your campus. You have to take initiative to go sit down with a counselor, sit with your professors. You know, it's not going to be handed to you. Nothing in life should be handed to you. If you need help, then look for it. Go and get it. Help is out there, but you need to just take the initiative to want to do something, you know? Did you fail any classes? I already failed one in my first year of college. Yes, this is something that nobody talks about. Nobody is perfect. Whether you're a genius or whether you're like the smartest person on the planet, getting bad grade in colleges is totally normal. Personally, I took an astronomy course my very first semester at community college, and I got a D in it. And that was something that I don't really get bad grades like that because I take school very seriously. So there's so many things you can do. You could either retake the course, you could take a different course to substitute that course. There's so many more options. If you get a bad grade, it's not the end of the world. It just means that you have to reflect on yourself, your study habits. What are you doing that's difficult? Is it the subject that's hard for you? And if the subject is hard, you need to go ahead and seek help from your professors, get a tutor. You have to be, consciously engaging on your own education, okay? How do you know if college is for you or not? This is a big topic that everybody wants to talk about. College isn't for everyone. That doesn't mean I want to discourage anybody from not going, Try it out. Go to community college first. If you don't know what it's like and you want the experience, just try it out. If it's not for you, it won't be for you. And you're questioning. There have been times where I'm like, I want to quit. I don't want to do this anymore. This is too hard. This is too stressful. I just feel like a failure and I want to quit. I've been there, but that's just life, You have to really question yourself. What is it that you want to get out of this experience? Do you want just a degree? Do you want this for your job? Or do you want it for your own personal reasons? Do you want to be able to have intellectual conversations with your peers? What is it that you want? And when you decide of what's right for you, you're gonna know what's right. I know a lot of people in my life that say oh, it just wasn't for me, so I stopped going. And now I'm too old, or I'm married, or I just don't feel smart enough anymore. I want to discourage that from everyone's idea. You can always go back to school. I saw this woman, she was 80 years old, and she was at Riverside City College getting her education. It's never, ever too late for you to go back to school. Was there a point where you just wanted to give up all the time? Even to this day, there's some days where I'm just I don't want to do this anymore. I want to quit. But it's not about quitting. It's about finishing what you start. You know what I'm saying? I've questioned this so many times. Should I even be here? Am I smart enough to be here? Am I worthy enough to be here? But at the end of the day, I'm a kind of person that I don't start something and I don't finish it. You know what I'm saying? You just got to dig deep. It's the same thing. Think about it like a job. Some days you're going to hate your job and you're going to be I'm so tired of my job and I hate it. Should I just quit? But you're learning so much more from your experience. It's not about the destination. It's about the journey. It's about becoming a more disciplined, open-minded, intellectual person. There's nothing wrong with that. You don't need school to do that, but it's a great resource for you, for your life. You don't need a degree. People are going to say, well, if you're not going to use your degree, it's useless. You learn so much more. It's not just about going to school. It's about being a responsible adult. It's about knowing how to study, knowing how to take initiative, to talk to people, to grow. There's so many positive things that you get out of it that don't think about it just going to school and taking a test. That's not what school should be about. Did you ever see... When I was little, I never dreamed about going to college because it was something that we never talked about. Being a first generation Mexican American, higher education wasn't really discussed, and it wasn't something okay, I know I'm going to go to school after college. It was a decision that I made on my own part, and I said I'm just going to do it. I want to do this because this is something I want to do. Are you satisfied with your college experience, and do you think you will continue with school? I am very satisfied with my experience. I've learned a lot about myself. I was in an environment where I could become an adult. I was able to deconstruct myself completely and reconstitute myself, if that makes sense. So I was able to break myself down and then build myself up again. And I think that was an experience that I'm so lucky to be able to have had, because not a lot of people have that in their lives. Do I feel like I'd continue school? Absolutely. I don't see why not. If the chance is right and the opportunity is there, why not take it, you know? How do you stay in school and go every single day? Like I'm saying, it's not about going to school. It's not the idea of going to class. It's not the idea of taking tests. It's not the idea of studying. It's learning the willpower and you finding that in yourself and motivating yourself. No one's gonna do it for you. No one's gonna sit there and say like, okay, it's 8 o'clock, wake up, go to class. No, you have to learn how to do that yourself. You have to learn how to self-motivate yourself. Because that's a life skill, whether you're going to use it in work, whether you're going to use it in a relationship or your family. You just have to learn to be a responsible adult, and I don't think that's a bad thing at all. Do you think double majoring is better than one major? No, I don't think it's better. I think if it fits you well, if that's something that you want to pursue, then go ahead and do it. I decided I wanted to do Korean because it was something that I was interested in doing, and I decided that education would be a great supplement to my Korean major. So if you're going to do a double major, it should be to your benefit and not just because you want to have 2 degrees. It doesn't matter. Degrees don't mean anything, you know? What are your study habits? I have some pretty bad study habits, but the best advice that I can give to you is study the way you learn, okay? Some people, it's really hard for you just to read a book and like understand what it's talking about. Try to make friends that you want to study with. Try to visualize your like paper. I've struggled a lot with like this, and what I found most effective was being able to like draw and see what I'm talking about visually and then pretend like I was able to teach someone. That is the best way for me to learn. That's the best way I would study. I would read a passage, I would try to draw a picture and try to sum it all up, and then I would sit down and pretend like I was talking to someone and try to teach them. And if I had questions, I would go back and teach myself, if that makes sense, okay? I struggle so much with biology. I struggle with math and biology too, but I just stayed there. I persevered. I did all my homework. I did all my assignments. I would go to my teacher's office hours, and I did it. I passed bio with a B, but, you know, I still did it. I think for me, it was more of a personal accomplishment, and it's something that I just fulfilled, so... I hope this like really does inspire you. I'm not saying that everyone should go to college, and I'm not saying anyone should not go to college. I just want you to be inspired and know that there's people like me, myself, that will help you. If you have any questions and you really have a serious answer, like question that you think I could help you with, I will feel free to like message me or like ask the question, you know. And I think that's a big part, like I said, is giving back to my community. So if you have questions about anything like that, let me know, and I hopefully this like video was helpful for you and it was inspiring for you, and maybe you could be here one day, you know. And I think it's a beautiful feeling. It's such a big accomplishment, and I'm not gonna let other people's opinions take away from my own personal experience. If I felt like going to college was the best choice that I've ever made, then I'm gonna feel happy about it, and I'm gonna say it loud and proud because it's an accomplishment, you know? I'm not gonna sit here and like belittle my own accomplishments, if that makes sense, okay? So I'm gonna answer one more question really quickly, a good question. Living on campus was so much better because you live at school. You have so much more time. You're so much more motivated and more likely to be able to just, I'm gonna go walk to the library rather than I have to drive to the library and get this assignment done, you know what I'm saying? So living on campus is a lot easier for you because you don't have to plan. It's a lot having to constantly, I have to plan an hour to drive from here to my community college. That's the one thing I didn't like. I lived like 30 minutes away from my community college, and I have to go an hour before everything. So living on campus was so much more nice, and that's why I had to take out my student loans, because I wanted to live on campus. I'm an incoming freshman to a CC. I would love to help you. VTorres19. Send me a direct message. I can definitely help you out. If you have any questions, go ahead. Just send me like a DM on my Instagram. My Instagram is KPXII. If you have any questions, a personal one for a friend, go ahead. I will gladly respond to every question that I get. So don't feel like the need that I'm not gonna answer your question, because that's a lot specific. Just stay motivated, stay happy, stay excited. Education should be a life effort. It's a lifestyle. It's not about just going to school. It's about changing yourself as a person, becoming a much more disciplined, open-minded, and much more happier person. You know, life is extremely complicated and difficult, but when you're able to have the right tools to navigate through life better, it's going to be a better experience for you, your family, and your loved ones. Okay, so I'm gonna stop because it's already been 15 minutes and I don't like to like make super long videos. So if you have any more questions, please feel free to comment. The last question, it doesn't matter. The last thing I want to say, because I think everybody wants to know this, it doesn't matter if you take 3 years to finish college or if you take 12 years to finish college. The point is finishing. It's not a win, but it's how you finish. Does that make sense? It doesn't matter. If I could go back, I would have taken longer. I would have gotten better grades. I wouldn't have pressured myself so much. Don't compare yourself with everybody else. Don't worry about if people finished in 6 or 7. I've met people who have been in college for such a long time and they're still going. Don't let other people's like track mess up with your own. You know what I'm saying? Do what you gotta do. If it takes you 30 years, then so be it. You should be accomplished and you should feel so happy that you stayed and you stuck it through for 30 years, if that makes sense, okay? I love you guys so much. You guys are my like truest like gift that I've ever gotten. So thank you so much for everything that you guys do for me. I love you guys very much. If you have any questions, like I said, let me know. I hope this was a good video for everybody. Starts crying. I'm just kidding. All right, thanks a lot, and I'll see you guys soon, okay? Bye, everyone.